praising God. Showered with blessings. Sweating in the thin air. Reaching out in ministry.
I think most of you have gone bad.
Supporting the local economy. Being ministered to. Experiencing new parts of creation. Praising God. Such are the experiences of the Volunteers in Mission Project team from Bear Creek United Methodist Church in Houston, Texas, who spent 10 days of June 1997 in service to Christ's church. VIM's mission in Guatemala is to help the primitive evangelical Methodist Church grow out of the Mayan people's suffering and loss following 37 years of a civil war they wanted no part of, yet were caught in the middle of. This video briefly tells the story of how 14 middle-class suburbanites were able to overcome cultural and language barriers to construct more than just building foundations with muscle and sweat. They were also able to construct in their lives and the lives of those they met new meanings for the power of the grace of God. Momostenango is a rural community in the central highlands of Guatemala. This area is settled by the remnants of the Mayan Indian civilization that was driven from the Yucatan about the 10th century A.D. Christianity came with the Spaniards in the early 1500s, with the Methodist Church following in the early 1900s. The Momostenango Methodist Church is a growing community of faith and needed more space for educational and fellowship activities. An adjacent abandoned building was purchased and torn down. VIM work teams throughout the summer of 1997 will build a new 4-room education building with a fellowship hall and kitchen planned for the future. The Bear Creek VIM team was the first construction team at this site. The site had been prepared by church members, local workers, and a college-age VIM team from Ohio. The Bear Creek VIM team worked for the week laying the foundation blocks for the building. Building materials were basic, power was manual. By the end of the week, hundreds of hours of labor lay waiting for the next team, who would begin to build the walls of the new education facility. During the week, temperatures dipped and soared. Rain fell and the sun beat down. Muscles ached and backs stiffened. And in every moment, the blessings continued to flow. When words failed, gestures prevailed. When confusion loomed, somehow reason resumed. Out of the riches of poverty and simplicity, there always seemed to be plenty of grace to go around. The ministry of the VIM experience is more than sore muscles and concrete block. Ministry opportunities abound when Christians come together. The Bear Creek VIM team planned an afternoon equivalent of Vacation Bible School for the local children. The craft supplies, storybooks, games, and songs were all brought from Houston. Yet, how does one bring games like Duck, Duck, Goose or Hot Potato across cultural and language barriers? How does an English-speaking volunteer teach a Spanish-speaking child what glue is and how to use it? How do Anglos and Mayans praise ye the Lord in a meaningful manner? The team quickly found the answers to most of these problems were not in their own efforts, but in simply doing what they knew what to do, praising God and letting the Spirit work wonders. New games were quickly learned through example and practice. Glue was soon mastered, even by the adults. New songs were learned by all in a spirit of love and grace, even if we weren't sure what all the words meant. Ministry is indeed possible across cultural and language barriers when God's grace is allowed to wash away those barriers in a flood of love. Just ask anyone on the team. Team members will also tell you you cannot be in ministry without receiving ministry. Working alongside a stranger doesn't happen for long. Smiles are shared, efforts supported, respect gained. Playing alongside strangers doesn't happen for long either. Smiles turn to giggles. Hesitations become excitement. Confusion gives way to understanding. The pretense is a game. A song, or a paper flower. The reality is the power of God's love at work in the body of Christ. When the week ends, the time together comes to a close. New friendships are rejoiced. Separation pains are experienced. But the blessings of God continue to flow so long as the memory of the work of God's people is alive in the faith of the community. The Volunteers in Mission Work Team has completed its labors. The foundation has been set. The ministry will continue forever.